The official statistics state that there are 60,000 migrant workers. It's important to remember that our population is just a little over 340,000. But that's just the official statistics. The state authorities do recognize that there are a number of undocumented migrant workers, and that number could be around or very close to 100,000 migrant workers in the Maldives. The biggest industry that migrant workers contribute to in the Maldives is the construction industry. They are usually employed in Malay or industrial zones in the Maldives, and sadly when most of them come to the Maldives, their documents are taken away from the airport itself. They arrive here with serious debt bondage looming over their heads. Their passports, identity documents and other work permit related documentation are taken away by the so-called brokers or agencies or representatives of these agencies. Some people we've met who've been left to fend for themselves just from the airport itself after having their documents taken away or confiscated. And we've known of cases where migrant workers without their documentation, with accommodation that would seem as very similar to the conditions we would describe around slavery. We've been able to talk to migrant workers in groups where they've not been given their salary for 11 to 18 months. And we decided that we will attack from policy, legislation, treatment, employment-related issues, and then to even discrimination-related issues at all levels to counter counter the discrimination and human trafficking, as well as the other important employment-related issues, labor exploitation issues that migrant workers are facing in the Maldives. Because when we started this work, there's no law relating to migrant workers' rights. There are few regulations which mention migrant workers' rights, but it comes from the perspective of employment or employment agencies or how to get work or visa procedures. So to uphold the already made commitments in the form of international human rights obligations, we felt that if the government was guided in the right direction, in the form of a benchmark on rights of migrant workers, and which is what we have now in the form of guidelines that you mentioned. And it is really inspired from one of the APF initiatives, the Seoul Declaration, and it called on NiOS to work on benchmarks that the governments can use for the promotion protection of rights of migrant workers, and that is where our inspiration came from. And the government of Maldives committed to the Human Rights Commission, committed to the cause of promoting rights of migrant workers following the launch and acceptance and endorsement of the benchmark. And that was a great source of encouragement for us, and also I believe for the recipients of the intended recipients of this, and that is the rights holders, the migrant workers.